Some of you may or may not know me, but I'm Stephanie Baucom. A lot of y'all may know me from Nanny Tees. I started Nanny Tees 7 years ago. I can't believe it. I was literally sitting on the steps and I was like, I wonder if there's any nanny clothes out there. So I just put stuff on a shirt and here we are. But before that, I started my agency in 2012. People always ask, how long have you had an agency? Technically 10 years, but I took nanny jobs off and on. But I'll say the last 3-4 years, I've really been focusing. And it took me to say no to a great full-time job to work on my agency. And I'm so glad I did. You know, I think if I could go back, and I'll talk more about this later, if I could go back, I would have done it sooner. Because I always say what you focus on is going to grow, whether that's your nanny job or your agency. So I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to quit your job at all, because I wish I would have saved more money. I was asking mommy and daddy for rent money, but I said, it's going to work. This agency is going to work. And it did. And it is working. And I actually, believe it or not, I worked today in my agency. Today is Rosh Hashanah, and we booked a Jewish temple today. And so we went and provided childcare for Shabbat and their services. And it was actually a lot of fun meeting the congregants and all that. I was short a nanny, so agency owner went to go work. And it was fun. It was fun. So we'll talk about that too. Sometimes you have to step in. I've been the temp nanny when a nanny's a no-show. But it is what it is, you know, it's fun. And I get paid and I get paid. I get paid the hourly rate and the placement fee. So double whammy. Okay, so anyway, that's just a little bit about me. I've been technically a nanny for 14 years. I started freelance nannying at year 12, really 11, because I couldn't take full-time jobs anymore. I would have families reaching out and I'd have to wait till nap time to respond to emails, and it started getting in the way of my vision. So the way I started my agency, I would literally send my sister to jobs. I would send my cousins. I would send my friends, and parents started asking me, hey, do you know a nanny? And I was like, okay, this is my time. So time costs. So I did a lot of research, and hence the Matoto agency was born. So Matoto is child in Swahili. And I'll talk later about branding your agency how you want and being mindful of other people's opinions, because everybody may not understand. Everybody doesn't understand the journey, but I'm telling you, if you just stick with it, it is going to pay off and pay off. Okay. So I'm not going to babble on because sometimes I can get going because I get excited. But if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box and I'll try to look over there and make sure I don't miss them. And we'll also have some Q&A at the end. Oh, Bobby, you run a nanny network in your area. Good. You're looking to start a 501c3. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, okay. We're going to talk about that, Angela. Okay. Anyway, okay. So I'm just going to go through some huge things that you need to make sure you're mindful of when starting an agency. Okay. So one thing I talk about, the first thing we talk about actually in agency school is the mindset of an agency owner. Before you start asking for anything, all the things, you just have to make sure your mindset is in the right place. You know, when I tell people, oh yeah, I run a nanny agency, I'm basically a matchmaker. People are like, people pay you to find them a nanny? Like they pay you that much? They absolutely do. They absolutely do. And people don't believe it. Like, why would they pay you $4,000, $5,000 to find them a nanny? Because there's a niche for everything. And I'm meeting the need, and people really invest in their childcare. So it's a different type of investment. And so that's what I tell them. Some people want to invest in private school. Some people want to invest in daycare. They want to invest in whatever. There are families out there who are willing to pay you thousands and thousands of dollars to help them find the best fit for them. And that is okay. They do not mind it. And so as long as you have that concept in your mind, everybody's opinion doesn't matter. So keep that in the forefront, okay? So you definitely, number one is to get clear on the type of agency you want to run. So when I first started, I was like, oh, it's just full-time, part-time nannies. But the more I've grown, there is such a need in so many different niches of childcare. So you may not want to do full-time, part-time. I actually have agency owners now switching from permanent placement to temp because that's what they want to do. I personally love permanent placement because I feel like it gives them that family member, but there are agency owners who like, I just want to do backup care. I want to do temp. So if you're taking notes, here are a few different types of agencies that you can have or services that you can offer. And let me say this, when I first started, I thought I was going to do all the things. I said, I want to do full-time, part-time, temp, weddings, churches, and I was exhausted because I was trying to market to all of those things instead of just kind of letting things organically happen. Most of my placements are full-time, part-time, but as we've grown, we started exploring other options. So I'll talk about that. So full-time, part-time, those are household employees. Family pays the nanny. You don't have to worry about it, depending on how you run your agency. There are some agencies who do payroll. Families pay the agency, agencies pay the nanny. If you want to do that, no problem. We do that for special events. There's temp and backup care. So those are date nights, nanny's out sick, you need to send a backup. Kid is sick at home, you want to send a nanny. Travel nannies, that can be your whole thing. There's, I think Adventure Nannies is a only travel nanny agency, and they stay booked. They stay booked. Those super wealthy clients who do nothing but travel, they need nannies. So that can be your thing. Special event childcare, which is actually what we're getting into. We're starting to do more weddings, and it's so much fun, y'all. First of all, we get wedding cake, and secondly, it's just fun. Like, you're not in the private home. You can bring toys, you can bring special entertainment. Like, we have packages, and I'll talk more about that. So we have packages where you can do a face painter. So you just hire a face painter and put that charge on the family in your package. You can hire balloon artists. You can do kids' birthday parties. There's a family who actually is like, do you guys plan parties? We sure can. We can, and just charge them for the time and provide the entertainment. We've even done things where we would rent a TV. So we'll put that cost into the package. So we'll talk about packages later because I can talk about that all day. So special event childcare, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And then you may even just want to do like house managers, because more moms are working, more moms are starting businesses. And so they just need somebody to manage the house. So your agency could be nothing but household management if that's what you want to do with like childcare, because families will gladly pay you to go to the store. I actually love the grocery store. Like, I love it. That's at Whole Foods today. And then personal assistants. So many moms just don't feel like doing anything. You can place personal assistants, which basically domestic household staffing. So chefs, housekeepers, butlers. I'm about to say Jeffrey from Fresh Prince, butlers. Families still have butlers, super wealthy families. So that's a thing. So I'm gonna take a sip real quick. So get really clear on the type of agency you have. And you may start with one thing and evolve over time. So those are basically the major things, I believe. There's even an agency, there's two that provide childcare for Disney World. So they basically, the families hire nannies to take their kids to Disney. Like, that alone, I think that's a brilliant niche. So you can do that for Six Flags. I don't know all the theme parks where you are, but it could be a thing. And just to break down special events, I know I did weddings. That is a huge market, because think about all the weddings that are postponed since COVID. And don't be afraid to charge for that. So real quick, how do you charge for those special events? I always charge per nanny and then an hourly rate. So for example, there's going to be 30 kids. I always do one nanny to every 4 kids, no matter the age, just to be safe. Like, I would rather have more than enough help than not enough. For instance, today, I think we were a little understaffed because we had some last minute stragglers in there. So we had 3 basically and a half, because one of the nannies was the kids' nanny. So 3 nannies from my team in one room and 2 in another. So 1 to 4. So you would charge per nanny. So let's say $40 a nanny is the placement fee. That's what your agency will make. And then you can do the hourly rate. So what I do, I'm telling all the juice. What I do with my rates is I charge $5 above to handle the taxes, simply because I want my nannies to make the full payment. So if they're making $20 an hour, I'll charge the church $25. So I can handle the taxes and we do all their payroll. Right now I am using Gusto as payroll. There's tons out there. You don't have to use Gusto. But we'll get deeper into that. I'm already teaching the class. So that's how you charge special events, if you ever wanted to know that. Okay. So that's number one. So get clear on the type of agency you want to have from the beginning. And again, it can change, it can evolve. It's okay. I'm still growing. I literally change my contract and update them every year. So you're going to constantly be changing and growing, and that is okay. And don't be forced to do something you don't want to do. I have one of my alumni, she says she hates permanent placement. She's like, I just hate it. And she is thriving in temp care, church care. She does care.com care. She's about to expand to Houston. She's in Dallas, and her niche is sitters. So that's what she loves, and she's doing really well at it. Okay. My next tip is to get help early. I know, so I didn't hire a recruiter until probably the last year and a half. I would have contractors, people who would help me make phone calls, things like that. But if I could go back to about 6-7 years ago, I would have hired early. And you're probably like, how can I have the money to hire? There's always a way with any budget. So one of my things that I love to share is Fiverr. I don't know if y'all have heard of Fiverr. I'm going to share, I'll put it in the chat box, Fiverr.com. It is anything you can get done. So if you want your logo done, your website done, you want somebody to call contacts, you can hire personal assistants for the day or online assistants, VAs. I have like my staples that I use, and I still use them. I've been on Fiverr for like over 10 years, and it is such a blessing. I've had people call references on Fiverr, and I just have a little reference form where they fill out. And yeah, so I mean, a lot of the workers are overseas, but the dollar rate, the exchange rate is great for them, and it saves you. So whether you're working full time and you're like, I can't hire a staff, if you can budget about $25, $30 a week where you are, if that's all you have, I guarantee you can go on Fiverr and find somebody. So there's Fiverr, there's Ripple VAs I've used in the past. There's Pineapple Staffing. I love interns. I've had interns work for me. There are some who work or who are studying like HR, some that are studying early childhood development, some that are studying business. And if you need an intern, they get college credit for that. So feel free to reach out to your local community college or university and get you some extra hands. But I'm telling you, early, if you can hire early, it saves you so much time and money, because some people say you need to do this, you need to be the admin, you need to be the business owner, you need to do the marketing. No, you don't. There is somebody else that is excited and ready to do that for you. So look at those things. I love local mom groups too, because there are moms who have nothing to do, and they're like, I just need to work 8 hours a week and I'll do it for $15 an hour. That's great for them. Like, if you need some help with onboarding, somebody to run your job posting, creating job ads for you. So if you can hire early, I'm telling you, do it. And you can do it with any budget. If you say I only have $25 a week, you get on over to Fiverr and you find somebody, and they will do a great job. Okay. And this is what I'm going to say from experience: be careful with hiring your friends. I love my friends, y'all. I love them. I love them. I love them. And I feel like sometimes you want to bring people along for the ride, but everybody isn't meant to go with you. And that doesn't mean you leave them behind, but your journey is your journey. So you have to be really careful whose hands you put your business in, especially with something like this, because you're dealing with high-paying families, candidates that are going into people's private homes. So you want to make sure whoever works with you has the mindset of business first, and you really don't want to mix professional and personal. I've done it. I've fallen out with friends, and I said I will never do it again. So just be mindful. I know some people say, my friend we're gonna start this agency together. And if you do, make sure you have a contract. I don't care what it is. Have a contract, a partnership agreement, who owns what, who does what. I know sometimes when we work with friends, somebody may pull the weight, and it's not really fair to get paid the same wages out of a placement when one person is doing most of the work. And so I just want you to be mindful of who you bring on your team. They'll be okay. You'll be okay. Just set the boundaries. One thing we will talk about is boundaries as an agency owner. You gotta set them. You gotta set them. Okay. So just a little tidbit there. Okay. The third thing is handle your business groundwork early. Now I'm going to tell y'all the truth. It was so illegal starting out because I just didn't know. I did not know the type of insurance I needed. I didn't know what type of business I was supposed to have. I'm an LLC now, but I was a sole proprietor when I first started my agency, just because I wanted to secure the name. I had a one bank account and I mixed all my money together. I had no plan. I'm like, well, where's my agency money? I'm like, it's on rent. Even though you're going to pay yourself, you just want to make sure everything is separate. So file your business with the state. If you're overseas, out of the country, check your local laws, your province, and what you're supposed to have. Your insurance. This is always such a big question. And we bring in a professional insurance agent who specifically works with agencies. You want your general liability insurance, professional liability, and professional is because you're giving your professional opinion and professional thoughts on what a family should do. And so let's say, God forbid, if you place a nanny with the family and the nanny, she has no record, but mom's jewelry is missing. They come back to you and they sue you. They're like, well, you placed this nanny. You should have known. That protects you. Okay. We're going to pray that does not happen to you, but you need your general and professional. So get all of your business groundwork set in stone. And the thing is, I always say is start small. You don't have to get the big premiums. Look local. I love local. Supporting local businesses, and you get better rates. You can definitely get insurance out of state, but if you shop local, start small, it doesn't have to be in the millions and billions, with those premiums and stuff, you will grow. My rates have changed. They're going to keep changing because now I'm doing more special events, but make sure you just get something. I don't care if it's $50 a month off of an online plan. You just want to make sure you're covered. Okay. Definitely get that separate bank account, because it's just good for tax time. You're going to do your Schedule H and all that stuff. If you can afford an accountant to do your business taxes, do it. It's work. It's work. And of course there are, Tax Act is good. And what's the other one? HR Block is great. But if you can just pay somebody a couple $100s for peace, just do it. It's a blessing, and it'll be done right. Not to say that you'll do it wrong, because I had been doing my taxes for years, but I'm like, I can't anymore. I just can't. Okay. So just to review, get clear on the type of agency you want, get help early, outsource if you can, and then handle your business groundwork. Okay. So number 4, mistake I made, do not spend a lot of money on marketing and advertisement. Let it happen organically. When we're in our one-on-one sessions, I always say, okay, who's in your network that you can talk to? When I started my agency, I literally asked my nanny mom. She found me at another agency. I said, did this agency do this? And she was like, no. I said, well, would you do this? She was like, yeah. I said, well, I'm starting an agency. She's like, okay, I'm going to tell my friend. She's a doctor and anesthesiologist. And as soon as I launched, she told her friends, they told their friends, and that's how we grew. So word of mouth to me is like the best advertisement, because they trust you. So like if you go back to all those old nanny families that you worked for, or companies that you worked for, friends, church, let everybody in the whole world know that you're starting an agency, because you never know who knows who. And even with this, because you're going to be doing a lot of educating. Some people think nannies still make $10 an hour, 12, and I get a family's budget is their budget. But with your agency offering a premium service, you're going to turn down a lot of clients. And so what I do is I actually offer resources, because even though I can't serve everybody, I still want to help if I can. And I believe everybody, no matter what their budget is, deserves quality childcare. So at one point, I'll be honest, I was like, I'm not going to work with a family who can't pay this amount, but there are some families who can pay your placement fee, but only have a budget for something. So like if a family says, we can only do $16 an hour in Dallas, we'll try to do what we can. I'm like, okay. And they can pay the fee. So you kind of want to know where to give grace and what to do, but also know that you're going to be doing a lot of educating. So back to marketing and advertisement. I am a fan of just going straight to the source. So what I love to do, I'm big on community engagement. So for instance, Halloween is coming up. There are going to be so many kid events, especially now that we're more open. So many more organizations are going to be having events. So they're going to be looking for sponsors. Sponsorship is candy. It is bottled water. You do not have to pay the big sponsorship fees. It could be, I don't know, a giveaway. Say, hey, we'll give away 4 free hours of childcare and your agency can pay them. But don't be afraid to connect with those shopping districts like Neiman is it Neiman? Yeah, they have events for moms and kids all the time, and they're always looking for sponsors. So, find those kind of well-to-do places. Like for instance, we have a place here called Legacy West in Dallas, and it's just like a cute little shopping area with like Tiffany, I think Chanel is over there. Tory, Birch, Louis Vuitton is over there, and they're always having community events. So who you're going to contact is the marketing directors, and they're the ones who usually work with community engagements. So Thanksgiving is coming up. Think about doing something for the needy, like connect with the organization, see what they've got going on. You can connect with the church. They're always looking for people to volunteer, and do it because you really want to serve. And then most of them will also, pump your business too. Santa, Breakfast with Santa's coming up. Kwanzaa, so many people having different events. Connect with those shopping malls. Say, hey, can we sponsor candy canes? Can we sponsor free movie tickets? That's nothing but what, 20, 30 bucks? And they'll list you as a sponsor. So there's so many different ways that you can get involved with the community. And so when we have our one-on-ones, we'll put together a customized plan for your marketing. But if you can avoid doing magazines and all that, I did a magazine and I got one phone call. I think I paid like $200 for that little, 8-inch thing. Never again. But depending on the magazine, it was a Dallas Child magazine. And I learned that every parent is not my market. And so that was a mistake. What I should have done, this is what I also do, is get with those neighborhood associations. So every neighborhood has one. They have, how they have like the Garden of the Month. They'll have neighborhood movie night. They are looking for sponsors. So make sure you connect with those neighborhoods in those big, nice, affluent areas. I would say middle to upper class, because there are middle class families who can afford nannies as well. Excuse me. Look into mom groups on Facebook. I'm in like a million, and only go to those certain neighborhoods where those moms need help. A lot of the moms are at home and they just want a break for the day. You can offer a temp nanny. Okay. Professional organizations. So for example, Lawyers of Dallas, Professional Women Entrepreneurs of Dallas. Get with those types of organizations and find out what events they're having and say, hey, do you all need childcare for your upcoming conference? Some people don't even know. Sometimes you have to tell people what they need. I've done that. And it works. They're like, oh my gosh, I never known there was an agency who provides pre-screened premium. You use those words like premium, elite, affluent, do Google those big words. And they're like, wow, all you do is pre-screen and vet, and like, yeah, we handle that. And they'll trust you knowing that you handle that up front. So reach out to them and tell them what they need. Early childhood PTAs, I love. So we have areas here where these are basically moms who need stuff to do. Okay, so find those. And what you can do is get on Fiverr and hire somebody to do some online research. Say, hey, find 20 early childhood PTAs in Dallas that serve private schools. You hear how narrow that niche is? It's not public schools, but private schools. So those families who send their kids to private schools have that type of money. So find a list of 20 early childhood PTA programs in private schools in Dallas. They'll have it done in 24 hours, okay? We talked about churches and religious organizations always. So churches, they seek out childcare professionals because first of all, they have to be liable. I know sometimes they get volunteers, but they are more than willing to pay nannies and babysitters to come in and care for children if they know that they're pre-screened professional. I have contracts, and we'll talk about that too. I have separate contracts for families, for temp nannies, for weddings and special events, or in special events, weddings, and church care. So why weddings and church care are different? Because weddings cost more and parents are willing to pay more. These families can spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on a wedding. So I'm like, okay, well, I can charge you $50 a nanny, plus 25 an hour, and they've got it. They got it. Okay. So you will need different, I have different contracts, and that's actually something I recently started doing because, you know, I feel like a family who only needs a date night every now and then shouldn't have to sign the super long contract with the family that a family who needs a full-time nanny has to sign. Okay. So I'm just a fan of doing them separately. Oh, I think I heard somebody. Okay. And we talked about community events and holidays. Holidays are great. New Year's Eve, gold for childcare, but start now. Call your local high-end hotel. So the Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons, all those boutique hotels, people are going to be coming in town. If they knew they can come in town and hire childcare, you can do virtual Zoom interviews before they get in town, and you know, so they can meet the nanny. Oh my gosh, like crazy. And then New Year's Eve is a holiday, so the nannies will make time and a half. You can raise your placement fee because it's a holiday. A whole vibe, okay? So do not spend extra money and stuff on marketing and advertisement. Maybe later when you have the budget, but up front, just make it, you know, let it happen organically. And I'm telling you, it's going to be coming in, okay? This is huge. Set your prices and keep them. Do not change them for a client. I made a mistake in doing that. I remember there's a client who only needed like a housekeeper for 8 hours a week. And they're like, well, we only need 8 hours. So I was like, well, my fee is this. And I changed my fee and they paid it. But I said, I will never do it again because it's kind of not fair. One family pays one fee, then another pays another. No, keep the pricing, and it is what it is. Your price is your price. Angela said, I had a client who hired me every year just for New Year's Eve. Yes, it is a thing. You know how many parents can't go out because they don't have childcare? You are that solution to their problem. Okay. So set your price. Do not change them. I don't care. And Jennifer will probably tell you, I'm gonna let her come on in a little bit, tell you, do not change your prices. One of the people were lawyers, and they're like, well, you know, because I said, no, you know, it'll be unethical. That's not fair. It's just not fair. And there are other families who are willing to pay the price. So if they don't pay them, there's another family who will. So don't be afraid to lose a client. Okay. I guarantee there are plenty. We are busy over here. There are plenty of clients who are excited to pay you. So if you get that in their mindset, they are excited to use my services to help them find a nanny, and they are willing to invest. Okay. So I'm personally a fan of percentage. This is with the full-time, part-time. I love percentage placements. So for example, a nanny makes $50,000 a year and they choose my 10%. Your placement fee is $5,000. Okay. But if you do like, my placement fee is just $3,500 no matter, that's good. But wouldn't it be nice to have an extra $1,500? And they have it. The families have it. I guarantee they have it. So when you're working on your pricing, consider for full-time, part-time, percentage based with the minimum. So say, hey, even if the nanny works 15 hours and she doesn't even make 25,000 a year, your minimum will be 2,500 if that's what you want. And we'll set your prices and work on all that, but do not change your prices. I don't care if they say another agency is down the street is offering less. You're not that agency. Okay. And I guarantee they'll come back. I've had so many families come back, y'all, just because somebody is offering a less fee, or they found them on, I don't say that, website that a lot of people use to find their own nannies. They come back. Okay. So we'll talk more about pricing in the program. Number 6, know your place as an agency owner. You are not the employer of the nanny. If you're doing in-home full-time, part-time placements, you're not the employer. So I know that's tough, especially as a nanny, because you want to get involved, you want to get in there and fight for the nanny. I do sometimes, but the family is the employer. So you can offer advice. And so this is where that professional liability insurance comes in. You're going to get a lot of families saying, hey, what should I do? You say, well, I suggest this. And so I give my families a sample contract, and in our agency agreement, I say, I am not responsible for the terms that you sign in the contract between you and your nanny. Okay, because if they sign something with something you gave them, they're going to be like, well, I thought that that was this. And so they can come after you. But if you put that in your agency agreement, say, I am not responsible. I'm here to give some advice, but that is between y'all. So basically you're the matchmaker and they handle the contract. Okay. So make sure you let them know. I suggest this. Here's a resource. Here's something else, but you're not the employer. Okay. Make sure your contracts are clear. My contracts literally change every year. They really changed during COVID. We had to offer a lot of grace, with things shutting down. We just didn't know. And so there were some families who were in the middle of placements. And so I extended their, placement period. I didn't charge them extra fee to go longer, simply because we didn't know, like, this was new for everybody. And so know when to extend grace. Let's say, so in my agreements, I have a guaranteed replacement period. So in the event something happens with the nanny and it's beyond the family's control, let's say the nanny gets in an accident and she can't walk for 3 months, but they are outside that replacement period, I give grace because, my conscience wouldn't want to charge them again because it's something that they couldn't control. There have been instances where a nanny lost a family member and they have to go move back home to help. I give grace. It just wouldn't feel right to me. So know when to be ethical and know when to, charge again. So, and you'll know when something doesn't feel right. Bobby asked, how long do you typically give? So my packages, they're about to change, but so I have 10%, 12%, 15%. So the higher the package, the longer the guarantee replacement. So 90 days, I think it's 120 and 180. So let's say they're outside. So the nanny works for them for 8 months and she decides to move, which happened. I had a nanny who worked for a family and her husband got a job in another state. And they were outside. So I just charged 50% of the original fee. So hopefully that helps. It depends on your package offerings. So let's say you have one placement fee. You're like, I don't want the packages. I'm just going to charge $4,000 for 6 months of guarantee. So if then something happens within those 6 months, you will replace the nanny at no additional charge. But after that, I suggest 50%. If it's, within reason. But if something happens, just give them grace. You don't want that to weigh on your conscience. So, yeah, another thing, I not only have a family contract, but I have a nanny contract for my agency because I'm glad I do. I've had nannies who say, well, this family asked me if I can work outside of the agency. And in our contract, no solicitation of services because we did the work to find that nanny, to pay for her background check, to interview her or him, and to call their references, and for you to just pass the name to somebody and they didn't do the work. No, you're gonna pay me. You're gonna pay me for my time. Okay, and I know I talk about pay a lot. It's because it's your job and it's just not a fun feeling when somebody takes advantage of your time. Okay. Okay, so that was number 6. Know your place as an agency owner and make sure your contracts are clear. Number 7, this probably should have been toward the end, but be okay with taking a step back. I have agency owners in the program now who were just exhausted. I have agency owners who have parents who were ill. I actually have an ill parent. And so I have my recruiter do more work. And so know when it's time to take a step back. If you are exhausted, if this thing is causing you stress, outsource, take a step back, and know that you're not going to lose a thing. Sometimes we think we have to always be on. I talk about self-care a lot. Y'all should come to my retreat in Denver. I'll tell you more about that. But you really have to watch your self-care, because if you're not careful, like me, you will work day and night on your agency, looking through resumes and all that. And I get it, you're growing. You want to make sure you have good candidates. But I'm telling you, there's always going to be nannies and there are always going to be families. So know when to take a step back and say, like, let me give it a few weeks. Let me reevaluate. Let me kind of think about my offerings. Am I doing too much? It's okay. It is okay. There's so much room. People are always having babies. There's tons of COVID babies. I'm telling y'all, you will be fine. So make sure your mental health is first. And I probably should have put that in the beginning. Watch your mental health, watch your stress levels, because you don't want this thing to stress you out. There will be moments. I talked to a mom today. I placed a nanny in LA, and I can tell y'all this. she did something not so good. So the mom let her go. And so I let the mom talk for about 40 minutes today, which is fine. I was in the car, put her on speaker. And it was a little stressful and I felt her pain. I could tell she was really bothered. So you want to make sure you're strong mentally because you don't want to carry that. Okay. And so you got to know how to turn it on and turn it off and definitely be compassionate. I gave her some tips, but I didn't necessarily tell her what to do. Like I did it in a way I was like, you know what, maybe you should have a conversation with the nanny and just ask her about this and blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay, you know, it was really, really surface because I have to be careful as an agency owner. And it was a nanny that I placed and she's wonderful. So it was just, an incident. So those are the type of things you have to be mindful about. It will happen. It will happen and you will get through it. Okay. All right. Number 8 is always, always recruit if you have the time. I love Indeed.com. I find most of my nannies on Indeed.com. I'm in several local Facebook groups. You can find them in mom groups. There's babysitter groups in your area. You can consider starting your own group. You just got to make sure you manage it. You can hire a VA to manage it, but always, always recruit because I'm telling you, I'm gonna let Jennifer come on in a little bit, but as soon as you get in position, those families are going to be like, I need you. And they're going to come out the woodwork. So you want to make sure you have enough nannies, especially if you're doing like that temp and backup care. Because I'm telling you, if you start your agency in October, by the end of October, you're going to have families who need care during Thanksgiving week or for Black Friday shopping. That's a whole thing. Black Friday nannies, that's a whole vibe. So always, always recruit. Okay. I've never done ZipRecruiter, but I hear that some, people use it. LinkedIn is really good too. There's tons of nannies on LinkedIn. So Indeed is probably my favorite. It's really reliable. I never pay for the stuff because people show up. So, excuse me. Okay. So number 9, this kind of ties in with, I already said that, so never mind. Okay. Let me see questions. Excuse me. I'm working on changing my fees. You have really good nannies. Yes, Dana, change those fees, Okay. Number 10. Again, I'm big on words and mindset. So the biggest thing is believe that you can do that. Do this. I know, excuse me, y'all. LA is a huge market, but I'm about to open up there. And I don't care because there's going to be clients for me. When I placed 2 nannies in LA, I said, okay, there's more room for me. So no matter where you are, if you're in a big city, a small city, whatever, believe you can do it. Make sure your niche is clear and get in there. Yeah, believe. If you have questions, please type them in the comments. I'm going to bring Jennifer on really quickly. Excuse me, y'all. Let me see if I can multi-pin. Okay, I want to do this add pin. There we go. Jennifer. Hey.
Hi, Stephanie.
How are you?
I'm good. Hi, everyone.
Yes, Jocelyn, I'll get to your question in a second, okay? And I'll also get to yours, Dana. But Jennifer is in our current cohort, and she is doing fantastic. So Jennifer, just tell us a little bit about you and your agency journey. I'm going to mute.
Well, my gosh, you guys are in good hands with Stephanie. I just have to say that first and foremost, for sure. So I am a 17-year veteran professional nanny. I'm also a mom and now an agency owner since May. So I wasn't sure, being that I was a 17-year veteran nanny, what I wanted to do. I know I wanted to continue nannying, but then did I want to do something else to further, help people? And I didn't know what that was. And then all of a sudden, the nanny agency school fell into my lap, thank goodness. And I was like, wait a minute, I could do an agency. I could help nannies and families and all at the same time. So that sounded something like I really wanted to do. So Stephanie set you up. She gives you all the groundwork. She gives you all the framework. And, it was amazing. So I started the cohort in February and I launched my agency in May, where I thought, it wasn't going to happen for at least the 6 months of the class. So that was exciting in itself. So 2 months later, I placed my first nanny and I just placed another one. So not even 6 months, I made my 2 first placements and they went great. So, so excited. And if you're ready and you're determined to make it happen, it will happen, especially with Stephanie. Like I said, you're in good hands, and I can't tell you all enough that it was the best decision for me. So.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. And tell us
Welcome.
where you're located.
Oh, I'm in Levittown, Pennsylvania. So
Awesome.
I'm right outside Philadelphia, about a half hour away.
And even in that town, there are families who need nannies.
Yep. And I didn't believe her at first. I was like, oh, yeah, right. My little small town. Oh, like, you're right. But no, she's right.
Yes, and you're doing this full time now?
Not quite yet. I will be, though. That's what I'm shooting for. It's stepping stones.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
so
as
I work still part-time as a nanny, and
Uh-huh.
I do part-time for my agency. So looking
Good.
forward to the day where it's just the agency.
Yeah.
Although being sad at the same time,
Yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
excited.
Awesome. So as you can see, it doesn't take long at all. At all. And the families were waiting on her and she was there. So tell us about that family that you kind of had to let go.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was going to be my second placement, but unfortunately did not work out. Yeah, to say the least, that family was a little was an understatement. So everything seems to be going well. I interviewed the family, I interviewed the nanny, I had the nanny all set up. We all went together for the interview. I sat in with that to make sure everything went well. And then once we left that day, things started turning a little crazy, where the mom kept talking to the nanny now that she had her, phone number from her resume and all that. And she kept saying to my nanny that she was lying. The hours that she gave when we did the interview was incorrect, and now it changed. And I sat in the interview, which was a good thing because I knew exactly what was said during that. And she kept telling my nanny was lying, and I'm just like, I pulled my nanny away from the situation. I said, no go. I said, this is not how we interact with everyone. I know exactly what happened. My nanny knows exactly what happened. It was a part-time position. The nanny had a secondary job and their hours changed, unfortunately. And that's just the way it happens sometimes. But the mom didn't want to take no for an answer. She kind of was just bullying her. So again, I pulled my nanny out and I said, nope, we're not working anymore with you. And I told my nanny, I said, you can block her number. Don't worry about it. I'm handling it. And the client pretty much said at the end, she's like, well, I want my money back. And I said, well, I'm sorry, it's, non-refundable. And I said, per our contract, we can decide to not work with a family for any reason deemed necessary. And when you bully my nanny, that's one of the things that is deemed necessary to do. So, so with that being said, other than that, it's been really awesome. You're going to meet, there's all kinds of people, unfortunately, but, for the most part, it's been awesome. So, have that backbone. Don't be afraid to say no, even though the money might be good, it's not worth it in the end. Because as Stephanie said, your mindset's the best, that make sure it can be the best it can be. So if you have to say no to do that, then that's the way it goes.
I love it. I love it. And then you got another family.
Yes.
So.
And I did, right? Not even a couple weeks later, they're like, it was night and day. And they said, I'm ready. I'm willing to pay the fee. We trust you. And this was like just after a day of talking. So, they're out there, they're ready, and if you present yourself in a professional manner, you earn their trust really quickly. So, oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
Haley says, Jennifer, how are you managing your hours between both positions? Does your nanny family allow you to work on your business during their hours, or do you keep things separate? So in the beginning, like, it's always a learning curve. But just as Stephanie said, when she was nannying at the time, she would just do it in between when the babies are sleeping, before and after. So I work part-time Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Mondays and Fridays and weekends are like my go time. So that's when I crunch everything. When I do my nanny interviews, when I do my family interviews, all that stuff. So, and then even now, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes at night, I'll do things, if I have to, but at the same time, mindset and, giving yourself a break is just as important. So yeah, and having open communication with your nanny family as well. So say, hey, as Stephanie said, I'm opening my own agency. So, please let everyone know that I'm doing this, but at the same time, just know, like, as long as I have everything that you want me to do done, I'm going to be working on, messaging or, setting things up while, I wait for your child to get done napping, so it's okay to say that. And, more than most of the time they'll be like, sure, go ahead, So no need to keep anything separate. So I hope that answers your question, Haley. Thanks for your question.
Awesome. Well, Jennifer, I'm so proud of you. You're doing amazing. And I can't wait for the day to call me like, girl, I am overwhelmed, but in a good way. So
exactly.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for your time.
And thank you, Stephanie, as always.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Right. Okay, let me figure out how to. Okay, here we go. Awesome. So let me go back to the questions. Excuse me. Bobby, I missed your questions on how long do you typically give? I don't know what I was talking about right there, but you said, so you charge the families based on percentage of the salary they will pay the nanny. Does that mean that you don't receive payments until placement? So I receive payment before the nanny starts. So let's say, for instance, I'm working with a family, they need a nanny to start October 10th, and they're still interviewing. So as soon as we hire that nanny, as soon as their contract is signed and sealed, that's when they pay me, because I placed their nanny. So I've even had, so a mom just had a baby in September, early September. We placed their nanny in June. They paid me in June. And that nanny, held on. She was doing temp work in the meantime, excuse me. And she just started. So, yep. So you get that placement fee up front, and make sure you have that outlined in your contract. Okay. And then Dana, how do we do placements out of state? So I have two answers for that. So for me, I'm based in Dallas, Texas, and I do all my marketing from here. It just so happens one of my families moved from Dallas to LA, and they're like, we need a nanny in LA. I was like, okay, I got you. Placed amazing nanny. She just happened to be from Dallas, living in LA, and they lived down the street. Placed another nanny in LA from a lady who had been following me on social media for years. That's another thing. I should probably talk about social media. Watch what you post, because people are watching you. They're watching you, and hashtags really do work. But she was like, I've been following you. I follow your nanny page. I follow your personal page and your agency page, and I want you to find my nanny. And that's actually who I talked to today. So it depends. So if you want to go like full force, like, and open a business, like say you're based in Tennessee, you want to open one in New York, and you want to market there and hire nannies there and do temp work there, that's when you would register your business there too. So you'd register in Tennessee and New York. But if you have a client every now and then, you don't plan on marketing in those areas, it's okay to place them. You don't have to be registered in 50 states. That's what I say. Some rules are different though. In New York, you have to have a certain license. And in California, they have to be trust lined pre-screened. And so that's like their law. And I think it's great. It's great. So it's like a super deep background check for California nannies. So it depends on what you want to do. Okay, Jocelyn asked, for permanent placements, instead of a one-time placement fee, is it a good option to have a placement fee that is paid monthly? For example, excuse me, instead of charging one-time placement fee of $5,000, charging 10% of the nanny's gross guaranteed monthly income. I've had other nanny agency owners do that too, and you can. Because, you know, I get it. It's a big investment, and you can have the families pay over time, and that's guaranteed monthly income for you. So you can absolutely do that. Just make sure everything is spelled out. Make sure the family understands. And I think that's great. That's great. What if you place 10 nannies and you have all of them paying you what? Let's just say $300 a month. You know, that's a guaranteed income every month. And then plus on top of everything else, that's not a bad idea. So yeah. Just make sure it's clear and they understand. Okay, Jennifer answered Haley's message, and Haley asked, when it comes to background checks, driving checks, and other credential checks, are there any sources that you suggest? Also, do you suggest having requirements from potential nanny, CPR, EDU? Yes. So I personally use exact background checks. I also use a private investigator. We just go deep. And when families hear, oh, she uses a private investigator, they're like, I'm gonna give you, yeah, I want to use your services. But there's also truehire.com. There is, oh gosh, what is that? If you remind me, I can, you know, I can post that on social media, the background check companies. TrueHire. There is, it's one that everybody uses. It slips my mind, but there's tons. There's tons. Haley, if you email me, where are you? Email me and I'll get it to you. Okay. There you are. Got you. Okay. Bobby asked, have you ever had a family not pay you after their offer letter is signed? No. No. Now, some people have kind of delayed in their placement fees, and I kind of have to send a gentle reminder, but they get tired of those QuickBook emails. So I haven't honestly had an issue at all. I know some other agency owners have, but if you really, really go over your contract with them and let them know what they signed, they will have no problem. They will have no problem. But I feel bad for the ones who have, because there are some families who will literally, they will try to play you, but we sign contracts. So make sure, here's another thing. One mistake I used to make was I would start doing the work before the contract was signed. Families say, you know, we need a nanny in Frisco this day and time. I would literally start looking. But then I learned the lesson real quick. Do not do any work until that contract is signed and that non-refundable deposit is paid. And make sure you put non-refundable. Why? Because that's your time. It's your time. And don't charge too little. Like your fee should not be like $100 upfront. No, I say mine used to be $225 for years, but now it's $350. And again, don't base your prices off of what other agencies are doing. Don't, because I just feel like I don't look at it as competition. Who is for me will be for me. If you decide to go to another agency, there's a family that's gonna come to me. So no, don't feel like you have to start under. I know a lot of new agencies. Since I'm new, should my rates be lower? No, they shouldn't. You're not new to the nanny industry, are you? No, you are a professional. I don't care if you've been a nanny for 2 years, 5 years, 10. I don't care if you've been in the corporate America, you're a professional at something. So no, we're not coming under. It's gonna be a long time to get this way, okay? I used to be the one, oh, I'll just charge $1,000, but it took another agency owner telling me, she said, don't you ever charge $1,000. And I saw why. It's, yeah. Okay, let me see. Will you put all the, yes. I will. I'll put the background check. I have them written down somewhere, y'all, and I should know them on the top of my head. Is everybody following me on social media? Nanny Agency School? Okay. And then I also email them out too, if you got the email. So I'll put them social media, email, and all the things. Let's see. Tanya said, did you hire a lawyer to create your contracts? I literally created my own and then hired a lawyer. I did. I asked a lot of questions, and I thought of it from the mindset of a nanny and a business owner. So I've always been in business, and I wrote down, I said, okay, so what would this look like? How would this protect me? And then lawyer helped me out. But I recommend, so if you join the program, excuse me, y'all, if you join the program, you will get a contract. You'll get a nanny client contract, you'll get a nanny, so you get an agency and client, you get an agency and nanny. You'll get an agency partnership agreement, you'll get a sample nanny work contract that have been reviewed by lawyers. But every state is different. I know some states have non-compete clause, and some states, well, they'll allow you to have non-compete, some states will not. So I would just, you can run it by a lawyer, but just know that it's usable. I've been using it for years. Tanya says, I started a local nanny Facebook page, but it's not getting any followers. How can I get the word out and get the page going? I would just say be consistent. Do you know any nannies in the area, Tanya? Where are you? There you are. Invite them to like the page. Is it a nanny agency page or just a page for nannies? Let me see if she responds. Yeah, so I'll just say be consistent. I'm also very involved in the local nanny groups here in Dallas. I haven't done a lot because, life, but I'm well connected. And I've actually gotten nanny referrals from local nanny friends. Like I'm in a group of over like 400, and then I'm in a group of like 12,000 moms and nannies. So just be consistent. Consider, even with your agency, doing local events for your nannies. You can consider doing some for moms, but I'm pro nanny too. So I just love when nannies get together. We need it because I get it. So if you're able to just be consistent, kind of build your nanny vibe or your nanny tribe, that's what I'm trying to say, then you'll grow. You'll grow. Yes, Angela, I'm gonna see if I can find my list. Yes, I'm gonna find my list and I will email them to you, okay? Bobby asked, do you typically meet in person with the families, or do you work with them mostly through Zoom and virtual sign all the documents? So we now meet with them in person. During COVID, everything was virtual, and it's such a lifesaver, y'all. Time saver, not lifesaver, but it's such a time saver to me to do virtual, even with some families. But I love meeting them in person because you get a chance to see how they live. Some families, they need a little help. But I love in person because it's such a customized service, and they're investing. Just knowing that, you can go to the house, get to know them, see how they live. And, I think that makes them feel safe with you. So if you can meet families in person, I do nannies online. When I first started my agency, I would meet nannies as soon as I got off work. I'd meet them on weekends at Starbucks. But now we keep nanny stuff virtually. It's just a time saver because we recruit a lot. I just don't have time to be going to Starbucks every day. But the families I will meet in person. It's fun. And if you can, take somebody with you. I take my recruiter with me. If she can't go, I'll take a friend, just for safety. And don't meet them in person until they sign that contract and pay that deposit. I wouldn't do any in person before then, because you want to make sure they're serious and it's your time. So, excuse me. Caitlin, what is the social media? Nanny Agency School. So the Nanny Agency School, we're on Facebook and Instagram. I think I have a Twitter, but I don't even tweet. I never get on there. What does it cost to start working with your agency? My agency or the agency school program? I'm going to share that in just a second. Oh, Dana, sweet. Okay, Tanya, you said just a page for nannies. I would start, do you know, oh, you don't know any other nannies. So I would join local groups if you can. You can even just host a nanny meetup. I would host a nanny meetup. Y'all can meet up and have a paint night. Y'all can meet up and do coffee. You can meet up and I don't know if you are still nannying, if you want to do like nanny play dates. But yeah, there's so many ways to meet nannies. I feel like I joined a group. I joined a Facebook group. And then of course Nanny Tees helped as well. Like we have nannies all over. So yeah, I would just say get in there, join those groups, be consistent, consider just hosting a little bit. And if 3 nannies come, that's fine. You can have lunch. We used to do lunch on Saturdays and it'd be like 6 of us, but it'd be like the best time ever. So I would start there, building your community. Yes, Jocelyn, I will send the email and yes, the program starts October 3rd. And then I will talk about all of that here in a second. Yes, Teresa, I will send the list. I'll send the list to everybody for background check companies. There's several. Excuse me. Jocelyn, do you set a time for time limit for interviews? Do you mean like, what do you mean? Nanny interviews? Like how long they last? Let me know in the comments. Elena, you want to come on? Okay. I just saw you sitting there. Okay. Yes. Let me get to these. In terms of your program, how's it run? I'm about to tell you here in just 1 second, but let me let you hear from Elena. Her agency name is just so cute to me. And I told her that in our one-on-one. It's just super cute. Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So talk to us a little bit.
Okay. So my name is Elena and I own Elena Claire Nannies. So I just went real basic, first and middle name, mainly because the name that I wanted to use, I couldn't use. Thank you, Disney. It's trademarked. I have had 18 years of experience as a nanny. So this has been my entire life. I am now a full-time single mom. So I'm going to get into that as well. So my agency is not up and running. So I'm going to also give that perspective. I started in February with the nanny agency school, and it has been literally a dream. Stephanie is the best to work with. But I was also in a season of my life where I just felt like I didn't have time. I'm like, I don't have time to start a nanny agency. I've wanted to do this for 5 years. Then I came onto this and I was like, okay, Stephanie basically gives you the blueprint and she holds your hand the whole way. You can't, call her every day, every minute to ask her things. But when you have those questions and she gives you an encouraging word, it's like, wow, my season might seem tough and my time might be this much every day, but I have the time to do it. So even though I wanted to launch in October, I'm going to launch in January, fresh start. I'm still a full-time nanny. I have 3 nanny babies and my son comes with me to work. So I have 4 kids all day long, except for when the older 2 were in school. And so nap times is when I work on everything. When my son goes to bed, I work on everything. My mom takes him. So it's all about time management as well. So if you feel like you're in a season where you're like, oh, well, I have this 6-month program and I'm not going to launch by the end of the program, that's okay. I'm in that boat. I am 100% taking baby steps so that I have all of the things that I want, because I've worked with an agency and the things that I feel should have been done or I feel could have been done in a different way, I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that those things are done for my nannies. So making sure that I put the time and the effort, because I am literally putting my name on this. It's not just, oh, I'm the owner. Like, no, this is my name and it's going out there. But I'm doing full-time placement, part-time placement. I am getting in with my church because they have had volunteers not be able to go to programs during the week because they can't find childcare. Because the people that they would normally ask that are the volunteers in childcare have to be at the events. So shameless plug to my pastor, I put my name out there and I was like, here we go, like, let me know. And so there's always something more that you can do, or you can add something. But like Stephanie said, like, don't put too much on your plate. Like, I wanted to do, weddings and events and this and that. And hopefully eventually I'll get to that. But for right now, I'm starting in one spot. So it's definitely an adventure. You have to take it day by day. So like, if you feel overwhelmed, that's normal. That's totally okay. And you can do this. If a single mom who has no help and is a full-time nanny who works 52 hours can do it, you can do it.
I love it. Elena Clear name. Isn't that just the cutest little name? It just sounds like a boutique.
Who knows? Maybe I'll open a boutique.
Yes, you should. Awesome. And tell everybody where you're located.
Oh, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
I'll see you next weekend. Now I'm so excited.
Well, I'm not going to the conference, but
I'll still see you some kind of way.
you'll still see me.
Yeah.
You might meet the baby too. He'll be.
Yay. Well, I'm so excited for you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And as y'all can see, everybody's journey is different. And your journey is your journey, and you're going to do so well. You're already doing so well. Yay. Any final thoughts? Awesome. Well, thank you, Elena.
Of course.
Awesome. Okay. I'll answer a couple more questions, and then I will tell you all about the nanny agency school. I just put all the background check companies in the thingy. So True Hire is a great one. Background checks for nannies. I think they're sister companies. I used to use backgroundchecks.com, but it's kind of changed a little bit. Exact Background Checks is great. They don't do driving records, but My Private Investigator does. I always say, look local too. See what's in your local area. I'm big on supporting local businesses. And the background checks, I'll say they'll run about $50. And again, so I personally, depending on the type of nanny. So if it's a temp nanny, they're going to be doing special events. I run their background checks right away. But if it's a nanny going for, full-time, part-time, I run their background checks before they meet the family in person. Because we're always recruiting, that can be a big deal. If you background check every single nanny that comes in the doors. And you can, if you have the budget for that, but I would personally wait until before they meet the family in person, if you're doing the permanent placement. Okay. Okay, Jocelyn, let me go back to your question. So how long do the interviews last? I'll say anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. It depends on, how well the families kind of mesh with the nanny. I remember I had one nanny. I used to listen in, but I don't anymore. I just don't have time. But they were like literally on there for 2 hours chatting like girlfriends. I think they just needed, a break. So it's really case by case for nanny interviews. I give all the families questions that they can ask the nanny, because some of them just don't know how to navigate interviews. So you kind of want to prep them and help them along the way. Again, you're going to be doing a lot of educating, because most of my families are first time employers of nannies. So you really got to walk them through. This is how it looks. This is how payroll works. I actually work with Homework Solutions. I love them. There's GTM payroll. There's so much information out there. Angela, yes, I will be offering the program again next year, and actually the next one starts in October. And then after that, it'll be next summer. So I'm probably going to take a month off. And then how do you look for families when you just start? For me, word of mouth. On my local network, I reach out to all my nanny families that I've worked with in the past and told them, hey, I'm starting an agency. Here's the link. Would love for you to pass it on to your network. And also, you can get referrals from your nanny family, even if you didn't place a nanny, because they can speak on your character and how you are as a person. So if you want to use your families as testimonials, I think that's great. And they'll trust, people on the outside. If they know that there's a character reference, those matter too. Okay, even if you've never placed a nanny before. In terms of your program, how is it run? So it is online. We have 2 live streams a month. I teach, and then I also bring in some of my agency friends who teach. And I'm telling y'all, like, the meat is so good. Like, For instance, we had an agency owner who made her first million last year, and she places sitters, nothing but sitters. And she also does substitute teachers for daycares. Who does that? And like, she's really meeting a need. She's amazing. Just like her faith is amazing. Her outlook, she's just great. So I do bring people in because I'm big on that. Like, I don't know everything. I have friends who do. So let's all help each other. But you get a lot. You get 7 modules. I did extra. And I'll tell y'all, so it's 6 months, but I told them from the beginning, I'm like, we're going to go to 7 months. And we went to 7 months. So they basically got a month for free because there's so much. I could probably go on for about 3-4 more months. And that just goes into, you're always going to be learning, always going to be learning. Okay. So yeah, 2 live streams a month. You get modules that you can print off and work through. Let's see, assignments. We do one-on-one sessions. So you get 3 one-on-one sessions. I post a lot in the group, Facebook groups, you get emails. So lots of communication, lots of communication. I love that, Haley. You speak with nannies that you see in public. Yeah, like they're everywhere. They're everywhere, especially during the day at the park. I met a lot of nannies that way. We do nanny night outs, play days throughout the month, make a giant deal out. Yes. And we host. Good. Wow. 250 nannies in your private group and over 60. Good. I love that, Bobby. I love it. I love it. Okay. Took you 10 years. Took you 10 years. Yeah. So make sure y'all write down all those background check companies. Again, look local and see who's in your area. And what's happening next weekend is Nanny Palooza. So I'll be there vending for Nanny Tees Pauletta in Durham, Raleigh. Anybody else in that area? I like to eat. Y'all want to get together? Okay, so nanny agency school. So it is 6-month program. It's really 7 because I just go over. But you'll basically pay for 6 months. And it's basically, I'm taking you from the beginning to launch time. And in those, I love the one-on-one sessions because we literally come up with a customizable plan for your agency. We get to the nitty-gritty of what you need, what it looks like, and I give you homework after each session. And we usually go over time because we chat like we're cousins, because it's just great. Like, it's great. So we really hone in and decide and see what your vision is and expand that vision and do what's best for you. And again, as you can see, Jennifer and Lena have 2 different paths, and they're serving 2 different types of communities, and they're doing it at their own pace. And whatever way they go, it works for them. And so that's what we try to preach in the program is your agency is your agency, your clients that you're called to serve, you will serve them and you will serve them well and you will profit. Okay. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about the money. That used to be me, but not anymore because I got tired of being broke. And so, you ask and you shall receive, and their families willing to pay. That's the thing. You're trying to launch in January. It is absolutely possible. Teresa, if you get, I'm telling you, all you got to do is the business groundwork, get that stuff submitted, make sure you're in position. And I'm telling y'all, like my website needs a lot of work, but I am still placing nannies and I'm going through a rebrand, but you can do it. You saw Jennifer basically started in March, and by May, she had placed a nanny. It is absolutely possible. Anything is possible. When do the lives typically happen? On Mondays, and they're all recorded, so you can go back and watch them. You have access to them in a portal. You can watch the replay as much as you like. You can send in questions, and I can answer them. And I try to stay as close to my email as possible. Yeah, so usually Monday nights, and then I always send them my Calendly link for one-on-one sessions. So a lot of those are Tuesday, Thursdays, and then I'll sneak them a Wednesday or Saturday is usually my makeup day. Elena, you have something else you want to add on? Oh, okay. Let me
Sorry, I just thought about this.
Yes.
So I don't know how many of y'all are still nannies. Be very open and honest with your current families. Let them know. But the best part about this is you're going to own an agency. You're going to be able to replace yourself, which I know is weird, But my nanny mom, they have never had a nanny before. I am their first nanny. And the day I told her I'm opening up an agency, her heart dropped. And she was just like, what are we supposed to do? And I was like, it's not today. I'm not leaving today. But remember, you're a sole employee. You need to give them a month or two notice. And that way, and with your nanny family, doing the process with them, you know that they've worked with an agency before, hopefully, or, you know, they've gone through some sort of process. And don't let up on your numbers with your nanny family. I know you love them. I know they're part of your family and you're part of theirs, but they can pay you your placement fees. Because my nanny dad and I had to have that conversation. He was like, so do we? And I was like, no, there is no discount. And I was like, I understand it was kind of in a joking matter, but I need you to trust me with my business, just like you've trusted me with your children. So just think about that when you're like, be honest with them. Like, hey, I want to work on this during nap time. Are you comfortable with that? And just make sure all of your household things are done first. Make sure that you get those things done, and then take time for yourself. Automatically take time for yourself. But you have to be open and honest with your nanny families, just so that they're not blindsided, and just be like, we're going to work together in finding the new me when that time comes. So that's just something I've been thinking about with a lot of my girlfriends. They're like, well, how are you going to quit? And I was like, well, my nanny family already knows. They know that this new contract that I just signed might be my last one. So just keep that in mind.
I love that. Open and honest communication is key. Is key. Thank you for that, Elena. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So thank you all for joining me tonight. I know I talked a lot. I'm very passionate about this, and I really, it brings me so much joy to be able to help somebody else and to help somebody save time. It took me years to learn what these ladies learned in 6 months. And so I feel like I had to go through that to help somebody else not make the mistakes I made. I tell you, I was placing so illegally. I just didn't know, but I mean, they were happy with their nannies. So as far as the program, orientation starts next Monday, which is October the 3rd. Starts Monday, and I'm excited. And I just can't wait to serve you. I can't wait to serve you. And so the early bird, I do all the early bird stuff. If you pay it in full, it is $9.99. But if you want to split it up in 6 months, it is $199 and some change. Okay. If you're on this live right now, you can skip the application. I have a little short application. And I'll type in here where you go ahead and register. But I purposely limit space because I'm big on just being personable and doing things one-on-one. And as you can see the fruit of the labor that it works. I wish that I had something like this. I wish that I had it, and I would have invested in it, simply because it would have saved me time and tears, because I just didn't know, like, building your own contract from scratch, learning everything from scratch is a lot. And doing that while working is a lot. But if you have everything ready for you to go and you don't have to even put together your stuff, like, I'm basically giving you an agency and telling you what to do that's best for you. And it works. It works. That first placement, you pay yourself back from what you've invested in this program. And it literally works. And so if you're ready to get started, I place the link is nannyagencyschool.com/register. You skip the application. The password is early, all caps, 22. You can sign up to pay in full. That's the early bird special, which is through Sunday, or the monthly. Okay. And then Monday, it'll go to the regular pricing. So you have your privileges if you watch this live stream tonight. And again, I hope this information is helpful, whether you want to join the program or not. I hope you took some good notes. I am going to email out this link if you want to go back and watch it and take some notes. Now, there are some agency owners who are already established agency owners. What I am building is called the collective. So you have to be a legal agency owner for at least 1 year up and running. Okay, so that means your insurance, you got your business register. So that is for established agency owners. That will come later this fall. And I will share You'll see me. Oh, Teresa, I'm excited. And we've been talking a long time. We've been talking a long time. But that is something that alumni automatically are pulled into. And I will share more on that too. If you are not ready, I get it. You know, timing is everything. But I'm telling you, it may not feel right to get started, but you just want to do it. Like, it's all a decision. I knew when I took my last nanny job, I said, I am not taking any more nanny jobs because I know that I'm called to this. And I'm telling you, as soon as I shifted my focus, the clients were like, finally, where have you been, Steph? Like, I'm here. I'm sorry, I just took jobs because I was so concerned about missing a paycheck or not, you know, making enough, or I won't get a placement. But I'm telling y'all, as soon as, like, it's crazy. Like, as soon as I shifted my focus, here they come. Just like I told the group, what's about 2 weeks ago, I said, y'all, reach out to Jewish temples and synagogues. And y'all, I sent an email. I had my recruiter send an email. We got responses that same day in book 2 in less than 2 weeks. I just made a decision. So make a decision. I know it's an investment. You will get a return. And it works. It works. And so, oh, Tanya, it's really worth it, you guys. So much want to, Tanya, do you want to come on? Girl, I didn't invite you on. You want to come on and talk? Let me know. I like to talk. Doing the payment plan. Good, Caitlin. Good. Yeah, so let me know if you have questions. My email is info@nannyagencyschool.com. This year, well, for our next retreat in Denver. Okay, no worries, Tanya, no worries. I'm glad you're here. So I did a self-care retreat in San Diego in May, which was just, it was amazing. And so I'm doing another one in Denver, and we'll have a couple of agency classes and classes for nannies. So you're welcome to come. I'll email that info out as well. But it's Nanny T. I'll send an email. Okay. But I think you should come. There's nothing for self-care for agency owners. There's another conference, and I'm actually going to it in, October. But we need self-care too, because as you know, being a nanny sometimes can be lonely. You know, you're with the kids all day and you're not really with adults. Same thing with agency owners. I mean, you're recruiting, you're talking to families, you're negotiating contracts. It can be a lot. It's very, very rewarding, but it can be a lot. So we need self-care too. So I'll go ahead and put the link if you want to learn more about my retreat. And it's March the 2nd through 5th in Denver, Colorado. And it's going to be a blast. I was just in Denver at the end of July, and it's just so beautiful there. The food is great. As y'all can tell, I like great food. So yeah, I'm excited. We're going to be family. Some of us are already family. It's such a beautiful journey. And again, be patient with yourself and know that you don't have to be in a rush. If the program is not the right time right now, I would rather you wait. Because I want you to, make sure that this is something you really want to do. And who was that who said they're in school? Somebody said they're in school. Angela, you're in school.
That was me.
Yeah. So let me tell you, I have people in the program, and this is no pressure. People in the program who have not been on one live stream, but we've been communicating through email. And they're like, I haven't been able to take the classes, but I'm investing in the program to go back to it later. So it's totally up to you. But just know, again, if you decide to do it now, you'll have forever access to the modules, and you have forever access to the videos. You can replay them as much as you like. So it's totally up to you. But yes. Do what you feel. What are you in school for, Angela?
Early childhood. I graduate in December.
Good for you. Good for you. So do you plan on nannying? Are you nannying now?
I'm nannying now.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
And Jocelyn, you're in school as well. Okay, online. Good. Good for you, Jocelyn. What are you studying? I love education. Child, awesome. So girl, what I love to do too, I love to create packages. Like I had one agency owner in my first cohort. She said she'd never been a nanny, like she's a copywriter. And she said she just had a love for like her nieces and nephews. So she wanted to create packages for moms. And so I help her put together packages. Like the basic package was just like the nanny placement, and that was it. But the second package was like family nanny coaching. It was just like brilliant. And then the third package was like, so if the mom was pregnant, she would provide a doula and then provide a nanny. So it's like she would provide all the staff. So from the doula to the postpartum doula and the nanny, all in this premium package. And I was like, girl, you need to charge like $7,500. And I'm telling y'all, families pay. How great is that? If they know they can go to one-stop shop and I can get my doula, my postpartum doula, and my nanny, like 3 placements in one. To me, that's really a $10,000 placement. 3 employees. All you have to do is just market to affluent families. Those really wealthy areas. Families have it. Oh, you've been a nanny for 12 years, Angela. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I think nannies just make the best agency. We do. Teachers, nannies, babies, we just do, because we get it. We know what it's like to care and work with all types of parents. I think sometimes the parents we have to nanny them too sometimes. You've been a nanny for 9 years. Yes, good for you. And the thing is, you don't have to be a nanny forever to start an agency. You know, even if you're moms, if you had nieces and nephews, if you've done church childcare, like you get it. You care. You care. So you have everything you need. Love it. All right, y'all. I know it's getting late, but I'm excited. Thank you for letting me chat with y'all tonight. I can't wait to get started. And yeah, we're gonna do this thing. Whether you sign up or not, we're still cousins, and I want to stay in touch. I'm going to be offering more content on social media to help out, because that's all I want to do is really help you out, whether you're in the program or not. So yes, Jocelyn says, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Elena and Jennifer. Yes, my cousins. Yes. All right, so if there are no other questions, make sure y'all copy and paste the background check companies before we log off. And again, I'll still email them. But my favorite, Exact, is pretty cool. Look Local, True Hire, and there's background checks for nannies. All righty. So thank you, ladies, for joining me. And again, nannyagencyschool.com/register. The password is all caps early22. So y'all can skip the application and just go right on in. Okay. I'll send out the replay and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye, y'all. Have a good night.